Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate round here of Lightning Speed Racing, season number 3, Le Mans Ultimate. We are here for the 60 minutes of Sao Paulo here in Brazil. So it's going to be a lot of fun here today. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus. I'll be your host and commentator through today's 60-minute adventure here. Last week we had the GT3 challenge, and the week before that we had our Hypercar challenge. We were in Bahrain for both of those events. Now we are here in Interlagos, just in the heart of Sao Paulo, Brazil. One of the most famous racetracks in the world and one of the most loved racetracks in the world. And for good reason. There's a lot of good overtaking opportunities here on the track, and even more beautiful racing yet to come. It is nighttime here in Brazil, so we are gonna go ahead and just continue watching these drivers go ahead and have a good time out here. We have only 12 cars on today's grid. We have Antoine Ponset, the championship leader in the already championship winning Cadillac. The manufacturer's championship is done and dusted for the hypercar category, because they have just won. Well, actually they won last time out. The last hypercar race, the hypercar exclusive race, is where they won. So that is a well-earned victory for the Cadillac squad. And then I think Antoine Ponset could actually still win the drivers championship here today. He has to finish P6 or higher, which, considering that we have only 5 hypercars, he pretty much just has to finish today's race, and he is crowned champion of season 3. And then just taking a look at the other hypercars and their championship. So Porsche, Alpine are pretty much, Porsche is pretty much dead set into getting P2. They have 134 points, and I think that's pretty much clinched. So I don't think Alpine or any of the other manufacturers could beat them. Some championship positions still on offer. Alpine is close to Assetto Foschini, though they will be battling for P5 in the season, which I don't think we actually have either one of them here today. So that's a battle that will be put on pause until the season finale. And then we have Lamborghini and BMW, Ferrari, Peugeot, Aston Martin, Toyota, Glickenhaus, and then Van Wall with no points. So still a good amount of points on offer. Few championship positions on offer as well. So I think we're expecting some good racing here today. And taking a look at the GT3 field, because this time we are back to having multi-class racing. So Lexus pretty much has, so I think Lexus pretty much just about has this championship wrapped up. A good result for them today will pretty much clinch that championship for them, as we continue to watch these cars go on through the night in the final closing minutes of practice. So there's only 3 drivers who are still in the hunt for that drivers championship. Jonas Bergqvist, Nico Perez, and Leandro Yecker are the only drivers within a shot of winning the championship right now, with 80.5 points going to Yecker, 102 points to Perez, and then 127 points to the Aston Martin of Jonas Bergqvist, which 2 out of those 3 drivers are here today. So this pretty much just boils down the fight to just those 2 drivers. So we will see how this plays out. I think I want to say the manufacturer's championship is pretty close. They're pretty close to it, so I think Lexus could probably grab it here today. We'll see. But once again, the penultimate round, the next round will be our final round. The hour 45 at Sebring will be our final round of the season, and then we'll begin preparations for the next one. For the next one, I don't have any insider information on the next season. Everybody is into the pits now. Qualifying is about to kick off here, so it'll be. Remember, it is a 2-stage qualifying, so it is a 15-minute qualifying session for the GT3s, and then another 15-minute session for the hypercars exclusively. So, and if anyone joins in during this period, they will spawn in as a Porsche 911 GT3, even if they are in hypercar. But don't worry, that is a visual bug, or a visual quirk at this point with Le Mans Ultimate, where if anyone loads in after you, then unfortunately it doesn't show the car in time. And hey, honestly, I kind of like night racing. I never really thought about a night race at Interlagos until now, and honestly, I'm kind of here for it. So when's the 24 hours of Sao Paulo gonna happen? I digress, but it's gonna be fun. So the hypercars. Oh, so okay, they've changed it this time around. I see. All right. Because I know in some previous rounds they had it to where it was 15 minutes for hypercar and then another 15 for the GT3s, but having them both at the same time is gonna be a big challenge here because Interlagos isn't exactly the biggest track on the calendar. Let's just say that. So not exactly the biggest. So the hypercars will have to use our high beams to go ahead and get on through, as return of Mikhail Frokov in the Ferrari. He's going to go ahead and give things a go. Remember, Antoine Poncet just needs to finish 6th or better to clinch the title here. Which, granted, there's only 6 hypercars, so pretty much he just has to finish the race, but as any championship caliber driver will do, he's going to go for everything. He won't settle for P6. He'll try to get it done. And actually, he could have probably clinched it 2 weeks ago if he got that victory at Le Mans. So, but we'll see how everything is going to go to play out. Next season will be interesting because I have no idea what next season is going to be like. But I can almost guarantee that we are going to see a new track heading to the calendar. And as far as I know, and this is me acting like a pundit here, going ahead and making a pundit's guess, Silverstone will likely be on the new calendar. So that is something. I don't have any confirmation on what round it is or if it's even going to be it at all, but it is a pretty solid guess that Sao Paulo probably might return as well, but Silverstone will likely be on the calendar. I don't think we're going to change the format at all. I think it is still going to be hypercars and GT3s, maybe LMP2s if there's enough interest in it, but once again, just stay tuned on the Discord if you want to find out the best information, because all the information will be posted on the Discord first. I know there's currently a survey going on concerning next season, so we do have some drivers currently on lap, and as you've seen, we've been on board with our current championship leader of Antoine Poncet for quite some time now, setting a good amount of purple sectors here as he's going to be the first one to put a flying lap on the board. Antoine Poncet is going to go ahead and put the time of a 1:25. That's a good time to go ahead and get things started. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and switch things up just a smidge. We're going to go ahead and just showcase the hypercars and GT3 separately, because it is going to be interesting to see how these drivers go ahead and fit this race out. It is 13 drivers across the board, so we have 6 in hypercar and 7 in GT3. As we are on board with championship leader Jonas Bergqvist as he makes his way around this beautiful nighttime Sao Paulo track. It actually does look really pretty at night, so Nico, I know you said it was a mistake But honestly, I think that mistake turned into something really pretty. So hey, I think it came out pretty all right. Jonas Breakfast now setting purple sectors in his category. William Stickley setting the fastest time so far with a 1:32.2, with Chris Kyle just 76 hundredths of a second behind. Mikhail Frokov is 1.2 tenths behind, so quite a few drivers still sending their early laps, and this track is going to get more rubber down as time goes on. But another thing for the GT3s is they gotta think about the hypercars too, because in prior rounds we've had them split, but now that they're together, it adds a bit of an extra challenge for both categories. So you really got to play into when cars are out on track, kind of like pit strategy actually. So you just got to kind of plan it around, you know, when you are less likely to get into traffic with other classes. So Jonas Bergfest coming across the line now. He's going to put up a time of it's going to come second, just by Nico Perez, about half a second behind, potentially due to hypercars, but we'll see. We do have some cars coming out of the pits. It is Mason Olney coming out of the pits alongside the Ferrari of, I believe that is not Linderand, that is Philip Smolka. Philip Smolka now also out. He's back on the track in the GT3 in the Ferrari 296. So we will see where he qualifies here today, if he can get into that top 5. We do have another driver that did join us. It is Jerome Linnerand. And Fritz Morowitz has also joined us. He is in the BMW. So we do have a few more cars on the field here today. So just again to kind of run through our grid here. In the hypercars we have Mikhail Frokov, Antoine Ponce, Alex Drury, Bradley Kennedy, Mason Olney, and Fritz Morowitz to go ahead and start us off here. So they're going to be going ahead and contesting our hypercar field today. Morowitz jumps up into P5. Definitely not a full banker lap from the BMW. We'll see if Fritz has more pace in that BMW, which I'm sure they do. The BMW is a quick car. It is a championship winning car here in LSR. The driver's champion, actually the first driver's champion we had in the hypercar category, Mikhail Frokov, took that car to a championship. He was very strong in the BMW, and that was back when we only had hypercars racing. And then season 2 brought along the GT3s, and then we've been pretty much going at it from there. So I think this Le Mans Ultimate Championship has been absolutely fantastic. It's been a lot of fun to commentate, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and overall I do enjoy this series, and it's good to be back with LSR. So the thing that's going to make me really curious, because this is the penultimate round of the season, so plans for season 4 are well and truly already underway. They've probably been on the way since last week. But once again, these drivers are going to go ahead and kind of start thinking about next season as well, just like the admin team. So they're going to think about next season and what tracks they may have to compete in. They probably have in the back of their mind that, hey, Silverstone's probably going to be a factor next season, and that could be a rain race too. But it is good to see Silverstone on the calendar, if it does come to the calendar. But we'll see how these drivers kind of adapt to any changes that we make through the calendar. So right now, taking a look at our hypercar standings, this is where everybody sits right now in qualifying. It is Antoine Ponce still on provisional pole position, only 87 hundredths of a second ahead of Mikhail Frokov. Alex Drury in P3. And then we have Fritz Morowitz, Bradley Kennedy, and then Mason Olney rounding out our top 6 here. And then taking a look at the GT3 field. GT3 field is pretty close as well. It is Nico Perez in pole position by almost 3/10 of a second there, ahead of Chris Kyle, William Stickley, Philip Smolka, Namaja Rashkovich, and then Gregory Kataras and Jerome Linnerand. So Linnerand, he was a force in hypercar, but last round he did show up in the GT3 race alongside Antoine Ponce. So those two are back at it again, although this time Ponset decided to return to hypercars and Lenaran decided to jump into the GT3s. He will be the sole Ford Mustang out here today. He will be the sole Mustang in the GT3 field here today as we return to qualifying. Pretty solid gaps for everybody, but I mean, the whole hypercar field is encompassed in just about 2 seconds. So, and the 11.9 second gap is purely because of the different classes. So, Antoine Ponset not setting any improvements himself as Bradley Kennedy does improve up to 3rd. The hypercars going ahead and putting in some pretty good lap times here. The only hypercar yet to set a time is Mason Olney. Now the Glickenhaus is going to be disadvantaged compared to the entire hypercar field, but it's probably my favorite car on this grid at the moment. Just because, well, it is an American machine, but it's also a boutique underdog machine. So, I mean, we remember the underdog story of Le Mans earlier in the season where the Isolta Fraschini ended up winning the 2.4 hours of Le Mans earlier on in the season. And the wonders it did for their championship. So we'll just have to kind of see if we see that kind of story here again today with Mason Olney. He hasn't been able to set a, actually he has been able to set a time, but it hasn't updated on my end yet, so maybe he hasn't been able to set a time just yet. We'll stick on board with the Glickenhaus as it continues to chase the lap. He is trailing the McLaren of Chris Kyle, going ahead and trailing him a bit. He is 2 seconds off of the current pole time right now. And actually the Ferrari of Mikhail Frokov is going to get a pretty good slipstream here. Now he can flash his lights and get past one, but he's going to flash his lights again and try to get, oh yeah, he's going to get ahead of Olney there. Treating Olney like he's in an LMP2 or an LMP3. But we know Mikhail Frokov, he is a rapid driver, so that's definitely going to hurt Mason Olney's time. And a car that's already not going to be the quickest on the field just due to the fact that it is a boutique manufacturer. Rear-wheel drive, no hybrid drivetrain. So he is currently now about 5 seconds off. I think about a total of 7 seconds off because he had to get out of the way of the other hypercar. Because you will get penalties for impeding, or at least they'll go to the stewards to see. But we'll see. He's going to come across the line. It's a time of a 1:33.016. He was actually about only 2/10 slower than the hypercar, than the pole time of Mikhail Frokov in the final sector there. So I think there is time on the board definitely for Olney. We'll just have to see. Philip Smolka currently in provisional pole here by about half a second. He is not one of our championship protagonists. I don't think, well actually here is one of our championship protagonists. So we only have 2 of them in the GT3 category here today. It is Jonas Bergqvist and Nico Perez both in for that Drivers' Championship in the GT3 field. And this one will certainly go all the way to Sebring. And Jonas Bergqvist did set improvements, but he's still quite a ways off of that pole time set by Philip Smolka earlier on. So Lenaran is not going to set a time, I don't believe, because Alvarez is still in the pits. Rashkovich having to get out of the way of the Ferrari of Mikhail Frokov. Mikhail chasing pole position again. He's got provisional pole at the moment with a 1:29.2, just 46 hundredths of a second ahead of Ponset. These two have fought time and time again in seasons past, and it looks like they're going to do it again. But here we go. Ponset is looking at a pole attempt here, but he goes off the track, so that's probably not going to work out for him too well. He is off the track. He did go very wide there in Sector 1. He is up by about 4 thousandths of a second, but I think with him going wide, I don't think that's going to stand. We'll see here if anyone else is trying to go ahead and go for a position. Nico Perez is not going to finish his qualifying lap. He is done and dusted. Chris Kyle, though, what about him? He's on our lap. He'll give it another go in the McLaren. And here we go. He's going to go ahead and turn on the afterburners and get going in that McLaren. He's going through this very wide sweeping left-hander into the S's. And now he's going to go ahead and continue on here. We'll see what his first sector split is going to be, if he can challenge the top three. Jonas Bergqvist, though, jumps up into pole position by 0.05 of a second. So not a lot of gap here between himself and Philip Smolka. So Chris Kyle, let's see what he's going to do. He's going to improve, but he is down by about almost 0.3 of a second. Can he continue to improve here? The timer is up. Mikhail Frokov and Jonas Bergqvist provisional pole position for the hypercar and for the GT3 categories. So we'll see. Chris Kyle is now trying to go ahead and trying to get some good time on the board here in that McLaren. He's currently 4th, but he'll push for higher. He's about to go ahead and show us his Sector 2 split. We'll see where the McLaren goes in that respect. Actually, I don't think we're getting a second sector split from the McLaren. Oh, never mind. There it is. He is slower, and he is about almost 0.3 off a pole. So it's now just a massive run down to the start-finish straight for the McLaren. He's going to come across the line, and he will be. Let's see where he's going to be. If he's going to improve any position. He will improve his overall time, I believe, but he will not improve his. Actually, he will not improve his. I think he did improve his time, but definitely not his position. So we'll see if there's any other hypercars going at it on track. Alex Drury, though, he is improving a bit in the Toyota. We haven't talked a lot about him so far in this qualifying session, considering Toyota hasn't had the greatest of seasons here. He's going to go ahead and come across the line. It is going to be P5 still. He will improve on his time, but not his position. As we'll see if there's any other hypercars on track. There is not. What about GT3s? Are we seeing any GT3s currently on track at the moment? That is going to be a no. So here are your overall qualifying standings here on the night. Mikhail Frokov, Antoine Poncet, and Fritz Morawetz will be our top 3 in the hypercar category.
Go to the grid for a race start.
And then Bradley Kennedy, Alex Drury, and Mason Olney will round out the hypercars. And then going down to the next group, our GT3s. We have Jonas Bergqvist, Philip Smolka, Nico Perez, Chris Kyle, Nemanja Rajkovic, Gregory Cazares, and then Jerome Linerand and William Stickley, rounding out our 14 car field here today. And now we're about to go ahead and get going for 60 minutes around the Interlagos circuit. And it is going to be fast. It is going to be furious. And overall, it is going to be a race to remember. As we are loading in some cars onto the track. Some cars are still loading in, so we're going to go ahead and give that a moment before we go ahead and get our rolling start here. For today's race, it is 60 minutes multi-class racing here. And it is looking like it's going to be a pretty dark race here today. So drivers are going to have to really drive on their headlamps to really see where they're going and to see if they got a chance of victory. So we may see some contact in the dark, but I mean, that's part of nighttime racing for you. So Formula 1 has their Singapore night race. We have our Interlagos night race. So once again, we'll just see how these drivers handle this change of condition. And the rolling start is about to be underway.
Formation lap has started.
It has begun. They're going to go ahead and make their way through the final couple of corners, as the timing table is still unfortunately not fixed. So we do apologize for that. We'll see what tires everybody is on. So we'll check the tires real quick. And it looks like pretty much everybody in the hypercar category, starting on those medium, actually I think everybody in both categories, starting on those medium tires, and we're going to go ahead and get things underway as we're about to get green here for the penultimate race of the season. They're just making their way through the final quarter onto the back straight. And here we go, we're about to get racing for 60 minutes around Sao Paulo.
Green flag.
And we're underway. It is Mikhail Frokov going ahead and going on the inside line. Ponset having a fantastic start here, but Mikhail's going to be late on the brakes. He's going to go ahead and try to get things going. Morowitz also trying to shake for a move, and Morowitz is off. Morowitz is off already, and that's already a rough start. And a little bit of a snap there from Mason Olney, causing Jonas Bergqvist to have a bit of a checkup there, going through turn number 3 as they make their way down. Morowitz is now going to go and try to put pressure onto Mason Olney. He's going to go and try to get these positions. Jumping back up towards the front, Mikhail Frokov had a bit of a shaky start, but after the first few corners, it was exactly what he needed, and he's going to start pulling away now. We'll see. There is a yellow flag. That may be one of the GT3s, maybe. It is. It is William Stickley in the Ferrari, having a bit of a tough time there to kick things off. Well, one Ferrari is having a bit of a rough go at it. The other one's doing pretty dang good, as Mikhail Frokov is in the lead of the race here. He qualified pole, and now he's going to go and try to stretch his legs in the Ferrari. And now Alex Drury is doing pretty solid there in the Toyota. He's in third right now, which would be a really good result for Toyota, especially given the constructor standings here. They haven't had a great season, but they'll probably take the look to next season to try to mount the challenge to the dominant Cadillacs. So we'll just have to see driver moves, category changes, the whole 9 yards. We'll see how next season kind of pans out for them. But we do have Bradley Kennedy going ahead and making his way through. Or no, he's got Morowitz pretty much right there for company. So Morowitz now in a pretty good spot to try to get this move done on the Bradley Kennedy. One German car to another. The BMW is going to sweep around the outside. And that's as easy as you'd like. Oh, but actually it went off. He went off the track there. It can be kind of hard to see the track limits in these conditions, but he is making the most of it, and he is still trying to chase down Bradley Kennedy for position. Jumping back to the front. The Hertz Jota Cadillac of Antoine Ponset is still going to go ahead and try to chase Mikhail Frokov for position, but he hasn't had the cleanest of starts, as Frokov has really started to run away with things. Jumping into our GT3 field, it is our 2 championship protagonists, really close to each other. The championship leader and the man chasing that championship, chasing to become the 2nd ever champion in the GT3 field, with actually Philip Smolka taking the first GT3 championship. He did announce at the beginning of the season that he wasn't really going to be he wasn't going to be competing in a lot of rounds, so he wouldn't be defending this championship super well. So, and he was our season 2 champion. It was the first season where we were running the GT3 cars. So we'll just have to see how it is going to go here, but there's still a good amount of racing. You have Nemanja Rajkovic flashing the lights, clearly not too happy about what has happened on the track. So once again, it is still just so much to play for in this race. Early stages in the race here. So we'll just, I'm actually looking to find the hypercar champion from last season. Just gonna take a look at that. Okay, so alright, so I did a little bit of history searching real quick, and so right now we have all of our champions, all of our overall champions in this race. So we have 2-time champion Mikhail Frokov in front, and looks like Antoine Ponset is on track to becoming the 2nd ever hypercar champion. So Mikhail's title reign will come to an end here today if I mean, I don't think there's any way for Mikhail Frokov to really win this championship. Yeah, I don't think he's actually... I'm looking through these scores right now. I don't think he is actually really competed in any rounds of the season aside from this one. So it is the return of the champion, but his championship reign will be over after tonight's, as we have some battling going on here. It is actually now a three-way battle into hypercars for P3, as Bradley Kennedy and Fritz Morowitz were battling it out tooth and nail yet again. And now they are also just trying to go ahead and fight against Alex Drury in the Toyota, who was just kind of minding his own business for a while, but now he's got two hypercars raging for position. This is going to be intense here. The BMW does get past, but we've seen this before. The BMW gets past, and then the Toyota or the Porsche just jumps it back. So once again, still a lot to play for in this race. Early stages here. Nico Perez did get past Jonas Bergqvist for the lead of the race. And this has pretty solid championship implications. Granted, Bergqvist is pretty far ahead. So it's not like this race in particular will change things. He needs Bergqvist to get probably a third or lower to really bolster his chances of winning this GT3 championship. Just taking a look at it now. It is 127 to 102. So right now, I mean, these two are going to have to really give it a go here. I mean, this is a championship that will definitely be decided next week in not Singapore, in Sebring. As these drivers battle out. Just behind them, though, Chris Kyle and Philip Smolka having a bit of a battle here. It is Ferrari versus McLaren. The McLaren does run a bit wide. The champion, the reigning champion, who is not actually defending his title, Philip Smolka, is currently in P2 at the moment. He is actually, Jonas Bergqvist has fallen way back down the order. We kind of missed what happened there, but that is good for Perez. So that is good for Perez's title chances. Rajkovic, though, is going to go ahead and try to get a move onto Chris Kyle, and it looks like that move was successful. He's up in the third. But I do wish we had replays, because that was a very... I didn't really see anything that happened to Bergqvist to really send him that far down the order. He's going to try to get a move done onto Chris Kyle. We'll see if he can do it. Bergqvist trying to go up the inside. The McLaren not giving him much room, but enough room nevertheless. And he is up into P4. Now he's got to chase down Roskovich. Now we're going to go ahead and jump back to this battle here. The BMW did get back up into third place, as Drury is now under pressure from Kennedy. We'll see if the Porsche can pick off the Toyota. Ooh, that was pretty close. That could have just about been contact between the two, as Bradley Kennedy is now trying to push tooth and nail, trying to get these positions. Riding on board now with the Porsche. He's going to shake for the move. Late on the brakes. He's got it done and dusted. But the Toyota is going to answer back. It's going to be a switchback. It's going to be contact between the two, and Alex Drury is back into position. He is back into position now. So, I mean, once again, this has just been a massive fight pretty much the entire time here, just between these two. This is going to be a very fun battle to watch, as these drivers are going ahead and just giving it everything that they've got here. So right now, the fastest lap of the session is a 1:25 in the hands of Mikhail Frokov, a second faster than anybody else on the field right now. So reigning champion Mikhail Frokov, whose crown will be transferred to Ponset tonight, unless Ponset DNFs, but this is the first race we have seen Mikhail Frokov all season, as far as I can find in any of the records. So he will not retain his championship, but he will go ahead and just show the field that he's still got it, that he could come back and take Hypercar by storm if he wanted to. So once again, we'll just continue watching and just continue spectating these battles, as this battle is still going on here. It is a beautiful 1v1 battle between these two. Alex Drury, Bradley Kennedy. The timing thing is still pretty much out of whack, so we won't use it too much, unfortunately, but that's why we are showing tires instead of the time between. Because if we look at the time between, our drivers are going through hyperspace, apparently, so see how much energy is remaining on these cars now. We're only going to really see it for the hypercars, because it doesn't give us that delta for the GT3s. And Mikhail Frolkov is actually burning a lot of fuel here to kick things off, so a lot of fuel being burned up here. And hello Codematic, welcome on into the broadcast. Hopefully you're having a fantastic time. Good to see you again. And we are seeing these drivers going ahead and giving it their all here, battling it out for position. And this battle is still raging on between Bradley Kennedy and Alex Drury. Still fighting it out in the GT3 field, or in the hypercar field, I should say. Speaking of the GT3s, Jonas Bergqvist, current championship leader, had a moment earlier on that we did not see, so he is down into P4 while his championship rival is up in the lead of the race. And that is Nico Perez, the number 78 Lexus, going ahead and being on top of the table for now. As we look, just kind of continue to check on through. The track is very dark. Yes, it is a very dark track here at Interlagos. We've already seen a few drivers going wide, but overall it has been a clean race. A little bit of bumping and contact, particularly between these two drivers, which the pass did actually happen. Alex Drury. Oh, it's a big spin there. It's a big spin there for Bradley Kennedy. Bradley Kennedy having a massive spin in the Porsche. He's going to use the runoff and get back to trying to chase out to Alex Drury again. So we cut back at the right time here, and oh, that actually I wonder if that's Kennedy's race done and dusted. He is running pretty slow now, but I think he is going to go ahead and get back going here pretty soon. Jonas Bergqvist actually in the pits. So the Aston Martin championship leader in the pits right now. He's going to go ahead and do his tire change really early on. So he'll come back out to the field. He will come out behind everybody, so I'm curious if this was a strategy call or if he had some actual damage he needed to get fixed. We'll have to see. He will come out dead last overall on the track. Jumping back now to Alex Drury, who's caught up to one of the GT3 Ferraris. That is the number 54 of, I believe that is Smolka. That is Philip Smolka in that number 54. So he's going to go ahead and get on past, as these drivers are still going in and trying to find their rhythm here on this pitch black Interlagos track. Not a lot of lights here aside from a few flood lamps here and there, but pretty much these drivers are going to have to rely on their headlights. I mean, this is pretty much the view from the driver, so yeah, not really a lot you can see here on this track. So we'll just, I mean, here's another look. I mean, at least you got a little bit of a neon effect here from the BMW of Fritz. He's going to flash the Mustang of Jerome Linerand. He's going to go ahead and get on through. Jerome Linerand has been a force in the hypercar category, but he did manage to grab a podium in our GT3 challenge, and this time he has returned to the GT3 cars. And now we're seeing that the traffic is starting to play an effect here in the race, so we'll see how these drivers manage the traffic. It is going to be interesting, because traffic can either really make or break your race. As actually we have a battle for P1 now. The reigning champion who decided to not defend his championship this season, Philip Smolka, our inaugural and so far only GT3 champion here at Lightning Speed Racing, now putting pressure onto Nico Perez. It is Ferrari versus Lexus here, and they let the BMW through already, but we have a very, very tight battle here. Nemanja Rajkovic in a Lamborghini is also not too far behind as well, so he might be a factor in this race. He could potentially sneak a win here, which would do the Lamborghini squad a pretty big favor, because Lamborghini right now, they're pretty much right in the middle, but they're only about 1.5 points behind Ferrari. in the Constructors Championship for the GT3s. So that could help them to get closer, but he definitely wants to beat Philip Smolka. But granted, there is only one Lamborghini on track and there's 3 Ferraris on track at the moment. So once again, this will be just a battle of attrition here. Gonna go deep now. We're trying to dig deep into the potential. Oh, a bit of a slow corner there for Perez. Puts Philip Smolka right back into the swing of things. Smolka, I mean, he's a good commentator. I've commentated with him in the past. Actually, it was the duo of Smolka and I commentating for the first ever 2.4 hour of Le Mans here on Le Mans Ultimate through Lightning Speed Racing. So that was a fun battle. We had a lot of fun. But now we'll see if Philip Smolka is going to go back and experiencing the fun of being the lead driver on track. He is still going to go ahead and tuck in behind. Bradley Kennedy, though, in the Porsche. He's going to try to get through in a bit of a checkup there for the Porsche. And he is using a ton of that curb to go ahead and get on through. As Bradley Kennedy continues his charge. And now there's a hypercar in between the 2 drivers fighting for the lead of this race. And actually, look at La Mancha. La Mancha and Lamborghini took the advantage and tried to get a little bit closer to try to make a move happen, but once again, just not enough. A bit too much real estate in between those cars to really make a move happen. And this battle will continue. Checking back in to the hypercar field. Things have spread out pretty consistently here as the soon-to-be champion is going ahead and just making his way through the track. He doesn't have to worry about Mikhail Frokov. He just needs to get P6 or better in this race to get enough points to officially become champion here tonight. So that'll be the Hypercar Championship pretty much done and dusted. The Cadillac team has already won the Constructors Championship. They won it 2 weeks ago at our Hypercar Open Challenge. So Cadillac has indeed won the championship with essentially 3 rounds to spare, although realistically it was only 2 rounds to spare because the last round was a GT3 only round, so no hypercars got points anyway. So, but actually Ponset is actually our most recent race winner because he did take part in that GT3 challenge and he got first place. So a good result there from Ponset. And ultimately, I mean, Ponset just needs to finish the race. That's literally all he needs to do. We're going to jump back here to the GT3 battle for P1. Lots of fighting going on in this category for position. Philip Smolka now still trying to put pressure onto his good friend and even better rival of Nico Perez. These two giving it a go here. And now this is the interesting thing too, right, is that the GT3 championship is still pretty much wide open. It does look pretty likely that Lexus is going to win the team's championship, but if we take a look at the drivers championship, it's still pretty much wide open, and Nico Perez is in the spot to jump into the lead of the championship after the race, because Bergqvist right now is down in 8th. He did make a pit stop though, so he is a good ways behind, but we'll have to see if his pace is going to be enough to pretty much catch back up and make that strategy call worth it. Not sure if it is or not, but we'll have to see. Smolka once again pretty much right up the back here of Nico Perez. As we go through a few of the stationary cams. Taking a look now. Here's the cam I wanted to see. Yeah, there we go. These drivers really just getting super close to each other now. Trying to fight it out. I mean, Smolka gets so close, but once again, the Lexus, it is an older car, so it's a bit tankier, so it won't go through these corners as smoothly as the Ferrari just behind, because the Lexus that is being used is, actually, it's like 10 years old or something like that, so, ooh, look how close they get. Smolka just getting so close to the back there. As now, here's another perspective from a different camera. We'll see if there's going to be a move made here. They're going to fight it out tooth and nail. I mean, this is probably Smolka's best chance to really get this move done and dusted. He's going to have to go ahead and try to send it on through. Will he do it? No, just not enough room, but he might try to find any kind of gap on the inside. Once again, just not quite enough. Not enough of a gap to really get this going and trying to get this to stick. So, once again, there's still a lot of battling going on here. Just so much fighting happening here, and it's all for position too. And here's the thing though, this is just definitely Racer's pride, because Smolka isn't even involved in the championship. The only drivers who could win this drivers championship in GT3 are Perez and Bergqvist, drivers currently at P1 and P8 in class right now. So that's really pretty much all they can really do at this point. But it still shows that Philip Smolka is still got that competitor in him. He's still giving a fight, even though he's really not even in this championship anymore. He may return next season, and honestly, I hope he does. It will spice his field up again, but Nico Perez looking for his first ever championship in the series. He's been around here since the beginning. He drove the Glickenhaus in our hypercar only inaugural season. And then he jumped over to Ferrari for GT3, and now he's been in the Lexus. And so, in that Lexus, he has been able to put up a good fight, but Jonas Bergqvist has been getting the better of him until tonight. There's been a very close championship battle between these two, between Bergqvist and Perez, but Perez still holding on for now. Jumping back to the hypercar, it is, oh, a bit of a snap there from Smolka, I think. No, that must have been Stickley. Must have been one of the other Ferraris. There's two other Ferraris on track. So Bergqvist did get on. Actually, I think that was Cazares that we saw have a bit of a snap there. So now we're going to go back to the revenge tour of Fritz Morawetz as they're going to continue to push on. That BMW is going ahead and going to try to make moves. Qualified third, still in third. Actually, I think in terms of the qualifying, the only positional changes were, I think, Bradley Kennedy and Alex Drury are really the only ones that have changed positions in hypercar in terms of from qualifying position. But once again, it's going to be a tough race here. I mean, it is dark, which was not anticipated by anybody, including myself. So we weren't expecting a night race here, but hey, that's one of the best traits of any driver. As we see Mason Olney coming into the pits now to go ahead and serve his pit stop. Gonna probably get some fresh rubber and some fresh fuel to go ahead and get everything going. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. We are about halfway through this race, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do for you guys is we're gonna go ahead and ride on board with our reigning champion in the GT3 field, and we're gonna ride on board for about a lap or so as he continues to battle Nico Perez. Once again, this is gonna be your Ruckus hydration reminder to go ahead and get some water, get some snacks. I know Monster may taste good. I know Red Bull may taste good. Insert your favorite energy drink here aside from Celsius. Nope. Nobody really likes Celsius, let's be honest here. But just be sure to get some water in your system. Your body will thank you. It is nature's hydration drink. So go ahead and, even if you are drinking a Monster, a Coke, or whatever drink you may be drinking, make sure you have some water in there. Your body will thank you. We're going to take a quick step back as these two battle out, and we'll be back. Alright, hopefully you guys did enjoy the sounds of the Ferrari going around the track, chasing down Nico Perez as we are back to racing here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that. It is fun sometimes to just kind of sit back and enjoy the sounds of these beautifully engineered machines ripping it around Sao Paulo, or any track for that matter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to ride on board with our soon-to-be champion of Antoine Poncet, the Frenchman now carving his way through the GT3 traffic that he will go ahead and lap. This will be the last one of Nico Perez. So he's lapped them all now. And now he's going to go ahead and continue on. He wants to chase after Mikel, but Mikel is just... He's just showing, he's putting the hypercar field on notice and saying, hey, I may have not competed in this championship this season, but I didn't really go anywhere. He's still showing he's got that championship level pace. Two-time champion here in the hypercar category. He was our inaugural champion, and he was actually racing in the BMW for that season. Now he's back in the Ferrari, going ahead and giving it a go. But once again, it won't be too long before we'll start making our announcements for the next season. So, just from what I have seen, it is likely going to remain the same format. It'll be GT3s and hypercars. And it's pretty likely that we will see the Silverstone track being used. Nothing confirmed yet in terms of the calendar. There is a poll or a survey going on in the Discord right now, so if you have competed in this season, be sure to go ahead and check the Le Mans Ultimate Discord, or sorry, the LSR Discord and the Le Mans Ultimate channels, and the drivers will be giving pretty much their feedback on how the season went. And I think some spectators are able to do it as well. I will double confirm, but next season should be coming around pretty shortly. And then there's also our Formula 1 division that is also going to race here pretty soon. We have 4 groups in our F1 division. I'm not sure which one is racing today, because every time I think I have it right, it's not always correct. But we are in season 12 of our F1 division. So that is really crazy to think about. That is season 12. It's still kind of crazy to think that we're on season 3 going into season 4 of this Le Mans Ultimate Series as these two continue to battle out. I actually had the honor and the privilege to actually be a part of this season from its inception. So, and also I've commentated in at least some capacity in every single season of this championship, and honestly it's really fun. And when I wasn't commentating for the series, I did miss it, because I do like Le Mans Ultimate. It is a very amazing platform. I mean, I will still kind of stand on that I prefer this to iRacing, which is probably a bit of a controversial hot take, but it is still a very amazing platform. I do enjoy it. I mean, I've always been a fan of endurance racing, even though I primarily watch Formula 1. However, I mean, endurance racing has always been a pretty good part of my life since my early teens. So I do have a soft spot, especially for the LMP1s and now hypercars. So it's always fun to watch these cars go around track, and we have some fantastic drivers here in the series. And I know we've seen this battle quite a bit on track, but just like these two, Smolka and Perez still going at it. Honestly, I think these two are going to be pretty much battling it out until their pit stop cycle, as we are over halfway through this race. Another 30 minutes left to go here in the penultimate round of the season. Just a reminder, next week we are heading to our season finale as we head from Sao Paulo to Central Florida. We're heading to my home track of Sebring. It is bumpy, it is chaotic, it might rain, but overall it is a very tricky track, and it's it's pretty much where we started. We started at Sebring, and now we're ending at Sebring, which is pretty funny, not gonna lie. I know. So while these two are battling it out, I mean, we're seeing them give everything they got. No quarter given between these drivers as they're continuing to battle it out through Interlagos. And I mean, I give these drivers a lot of credit because, like Codematic said in the YouTube chat, it is dark out there. Like, I feel like I'd have to wear one of those high-vis vests just to, like, go into the grandstands, just to be seen. But yeah, it is really dark out there. So, I mean, kudos to these drivers for driving, especially, like, let's say you're kind of Bradley Kennedy right now, just kind of driving in the dark. I mean, just look at this. There we go. It wouldn't change cameras for some reason. Here, let's get a different camera. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is pretty much his view for the most part. This is probably a better representation of what his view is like right now. So, I mean, right now, it's not the darkest track. It's not like the Nürburgring at night, where that track has moments of being absolutely pitch black. But it is still a very dark racetrack out here. So, once again, you're pretty much just living on your lights, essentially, as these drivers continue going through a bit of a squealing tire. So those tires might be on the edge of their life expectancy. And I mean, I think that view also gives you a pretty good look at things, just how dark it is out here on track. Once again, everybody on this field was running the medium tire earlier on. Actually, and Olney is actually now doing a bit of an interesting thing. So he's got half hards, half mediums. So I think the rear tires might be those hards, and then the front tires might be the mediums on Olney's Glickenhaus, the number 708, making his way through the track. But yeah, that's actually really interesting. I'm actually really surprised to kind of see that. I guess if he was feeling like he had a bit too much snap oversteer and his rear tires were degrading a bit too quickly, then I guess I could see it. But once again, these drivers have a better feel of the car than I do here in the commentary booth, so I'm sure if I was in their position, I would understand. I would understand why they made that call. But that's another beauty of racing. And I mean, we see it on our F1 division as well, where just sometimes strategy calls may bewilder us from time to time, but ultimately they do lead to very good results. So, as we are back on board with Ponset, and also now back to Alex Drury. So, there's been a few drivers who have made pit stops, not a lot. So, here's the thing though, I don't think Bergqvist has really benefited that much from his strategy call earlier on. So, I mean, maybe there's some way where these guys are really benefiting from these positions, or from this pit call. He is just now called the back of William Stickley, who, I mean, William Stickley he's I think a few laps down. I don't think he's quite on the lead lap. So now we're gonna back to Smolka, who is still chasing down Nico, but now Nemanja is part of this battle as well. So Nemanja Roskovich is now really on board in this battle here, fighting for P1. It is a three-way battle for first right now in the GT3s. It is exciting stuff here because mathematically, 2 out of these 3 drivers cannot win the championship. Nico Perez is the only one who is currently in the mathematical realm of possibility to win this championship that is in this top 3 fight right now. The other driver, there's 2 other drivers mathematically within a chance, and one of them is not in the race. So really this boils down to 2 drivers who could mathematically win this race, or win this championship. It is Nico Perez and Jonas Bergqvist again. Now, Leandro Yecker could have won the championship. He was still within mathematical contention. He would have needed to win both races to get that, but he is not in this race, so you can't really win a championship, and you can't really win a race that you're not a part of. So I mean, if you did win a race you're not part of, then something must have really went wrong on the administrative front, but the admin team here for the Le Mans Ultimate Series is absolutely fantastic. And actually, I do want to shout out one of our admin members, Nico Perez, who is fighting for the title here. Just looking for his first ever championship here at Lightning Speed Racing's Le Mans Ultimate Series. Another driver chasing his first title is Antoine Ponset, who's actually now under a bit of pressure for the first time on this race since the early stages. And now he's got Fritz Morawetz trying to go ahead and put pressure on him from the BMW. We know the BMW is a rapid car in the straight lines, but so is the Cadillac. But we have to remember, even though speed is a pretty big factor, straight line speed is huge, especially around Interlagos, but it's not everything. Because we do have to remember, I mean, despite how fantastic of a season Ponset has had, he did lose Le Mans to Inesulta Fraschini. That was Marcus Woltersdorfer having a beautiful drive, winning the third 2.4 hour of Le Mans in the Inesulta Fraschini, the only boutique manufacturer to do such a thing, even in the real world, at least in this current regulation of hypercar. I know boutique manufacturers have won in the early years of Le Mans, but in terms of the hypercars, the Inesulta Fraschini is the only one to win it here at Lightning Speed Racing. And it was a nail-biter race between Ponset and Woltersdorfer. So it was a really, really good battle between them at the end, which ultimately the Inesulta won out, and it really helped the Inesulta's chances of winning the or at least getting a good spot in the Constructors' Championship, because they were second to last previously. And then from there, they jumped up to, I believe at the time, they jumped up in the third. And now they're pretty much fighting Alpine for fourth. So it's kind of a three-way fight between themselves, Alpine and Lamborghini for third, which, funny enough, none of them are here tonight. So the battle for third will definitely go down to Sebring next week, where we go ahead and wrap up the season. So the Hypercar Constructors Championship is already done and dusted, as Morawetz is still trying to chase down the back of Antoine Ponset. He's going to go ahead and give it a go, but so far Morawetz has not really been able to make up the most ground here in this stint. These drivers are going to have to pit here pretty soon. Take a look at the energy remaining. They are probably going to have to pit here pretty soon. I mean, there's a very slim chance that they may be able to get to the end without making a pit stop. I don't believe they will, but we will see. I mean, I know for a fact that Mikhail Frokov's going to have to go ahead and pit as they get past the Mustang of Jerome Lenorand. But I'm surprised we haven't really seen a lot of pit stops here in this race. So, and now we have this battle pretty much back up and running, as Roskovich is now trying to go ahead and fight it out. But look at this, Ponset and Morawetz battling it out. They're stuck in the GT3 battle. So we have a GT3 battle for the lead, and then a hypercar battle for second. That's one of the trickiest things about multi-class racing here, is that you do have these battles in multiple classes often going on at the same time. But if you're the GT3s, you have to let the hypercars through without trying to lose a position. And for the hypercars, you got to try to get past the GT3s without losing a position. But that did allow Morawetz to really close up here. Morawetz now in the BMW trying to go to get anything to happen here. He's close. He's knocking on the door with 20 minutes to go. We are 2/3 of the way through this race here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, as we got more and more battling here. So this is really the biggest issue with trying to pass to this part of the track, is that this is really the only part of the track where you really have no real opportunities to pass in a lot of cases, unless you do something extremely, extremely risky. So Morawetz now still trying to go ahead and put pressure onto the back of Ponset. He's got a good run though, but it looks like that Cadillac might be set up for a bit of a better top end here as they go and come across the start-finish straight. Morowitz is going to try to go ahead and get closer. He's going to give the old college try. He's going to get really close to the back as we ride on board with the BMW driver. He's going to go ahead and make his way and try to fight it out on the circuit. Now here's where the first DRS zone would be on the Formula 1 track. He's going to close the gap. He wish he had DRS right about now. It would make the closing the gap a bit easier. Ponset running a bit wide. And that's going to open the door. And he's going to try to walk right through the door. Nothing Ponset can do. He's going to try to fight it, but once again, there's just nothing he can do. Fritz Morowitz up in the P2. And he is in a good spot here. Because if he can manage his fuel for the rest of the race, Frokov is going to have to pit. And then, actually, this would put Morowitz into winning the race for BMW. So that would be a really good shout for this BMW team, which BMW has not had a fantastic season so far. They are currently 6th in the Constructors right now with only 46 points to their name. And for context, Cadillac, the car he just passed, has 251 points. So, and I mean, just taking a look through the winners, I'm just going to do a bit of history research as we continue to watch this car battle on. Very good racing here from Ponset and Morowitz. Bradley Kennedy now trying to chase. Is this a battle again? Yes, so it's Bradley Kennedy and Alex Drury again about to battle out for the final positions in the top 5. But looking through it, BMW has not had a win all season long. Actually, correction. They did have a win. I'm trying to see if that was actually from this season or not. I don't think it was. I'd have to try to get a comprehensive list of the winners from this season, but yeah, so actually, I think the last time, which granted, I unfortunately don't have all the statistics here, but the last time that BMW has won a race, it was back at the season opener for season 2, I believe. So it was round 1, season 2 was the last time BMW stood on the top step of the podium here in this series. So, I mean, unless Frokov can pull off a masterful fuel save at this stage of the race, because that might have just been a strategy, just to burn up the fuel, build up a good gap, and then slowly just try to balance it out through the rest of the race. As Drury now is still trying to go ahead and run away from Bradley Kennedy, but we know that Porsche is really quick. Jumping back to a battle that's 99% still going on. It is Philip Smolka, Nico Perez, and Namaja Rajkovic. I mean, these guys have been battling it out just so long. I mean, I feel like they've been battling for about 45 minutes straight on this track. I think they've just been actually fighting for that long, which is crazy to think about. Because, I mean, these guys have been battling longer than... let me rephrase that to make it more understandable for everybody that speaks regular English. This battle has been longer than some of the races I've commentated in my career. This battle, I think, has been going on longer than the GT3 round that we had last week overall, because that was a 45-minute round. I feel like these guys have been battling for at least 45 minutes. Giving it a go. Alex Drury now going to go to get past, and now this is a really tricky part if you are Bradley Kennedy, just kind of tucked in behind these drivers. And here's the thing too, Bradley Kennedy is definitely no slouch here. This is kind of an off weekend for him, but coming into this round, he was actually second in the championship. Now granted, I mean, Ponset's going to win the title today pretty much. Unless he DNFs here, which we did have a DNF, and it is Mason Olney. And the Glickenhaus is a bit of a rough time for the Glickenhaus. This really, I mean, the Glickenhaus does have a lot of disadvantages, but it is still it's still an amazing car. one of the pioneering hypercars in this current WEC regulations. Unfortunately, it just didn't have much going for it. It was rear-wheel drive, no hybrid system, so that already kind of put it at a disadvantage compared to everybody else. But we will see here. The driver that could have overtaken Kennedy in the standings was Dario Osorio, who is also once again not here today. So, I mean, I think that Ponset doesn't quite, or sorry, not Ponset. Bradley doesn't exactly have P2, but look at this, they're all over the road. It's Philip Smolka, or no, that was William Stickley, number 50, or Kazadaraz. That was Gregory Kazadaraz in the number 54 in P8, went off wide, and look at this, it is the battle again, just up the road. Drury and Kennedy fighting it out for position. This is for the last spots in the top 5. Bradley Kennedy now trying to go ahead and put pressure onto the back of Alex Drury here, as these guys are going to go ahead and fight. They're going to fight it out tooth and nail. We'll see. Bradley Kennedy's going to try to get a dive on the inside. He's going to stick it. There's contact between the two. Alex definitely had that front bumper knocked around, but Bradley Kennedy is up into P4. And that was a move he needed done for quite some time. He barged his way through, traded a bit of paint, but overall he did get that position that he wanted. So he is up into P4 as they go ahead and try to go ahead and battle on still. I was going to say Alex Drury I don't think is done yet. So Alex Drury is now going to really try to give it his all here as he's going to continue to try to fight. He's trying to fight for this position. He's going to try to regain that P4. But here's the really interesting one here. It is Ponset and Morawetz still battling it again. But yeah, Mikhail Frokov, who is seconds in the lead, but he is under a bit of a fuel save at the moment. I mean, he's only got 8% energy for another 12 minutes of racing, so, and that's not going to last. He needs to come into the pits. So I think he pretty much just poured on the pace and then that was pretty much it. Although granted, he is the sole Ferrari out here, so there's a chance that Ferrari does burn more fuel and more energy than the other cars. Very much a consideration, but I think Ponset is definitely in a pretty good spot to take this. We will actually try to get an interview with Antoine Ponset because he is going to win this championship here. And then, so yeah, he's going to win the championship here. We'll try to get an interview with him if we can. And after that, that'll probably be the wrap up here. But before then, we still have 11 minutes of hard racing action to go. Who is going to get the win? Is it Morawetz? Is it going to be Ponset? Or is Mikhail Frokov going to surprise us all and bring the car to victory lane? It's not looking very likely. Philip Smolka did get past Nico Perez, so there's a bit of a break in that battle. And now we're seeing Philip Smolka going ahead and giving the lights to his fellow Ferrari GT3. Perez also doing the same. And yep, they're going to get on through. That is William Stickley that they're getting on past. As now they will continue on battling out here. These two are going to go ahead and continue giving it their all. Bradley Kennedy now running into traffic a bit on the grass there for the Porsche. He is going to have to try to fight it. If this Ferrari gets too much in his way, then that's going to invite Alex Drury back into the battle. It looks like it might have a little bit. 10 minutes to go on the clock. And it's the final 10 minutes of racing action here in Sao Paulo. And what could be the final 10 minutes of Mikhail Frokov's championship reign here. Because Ponset just needs to finish the race and he is champion. So we'll try to get Ponset in here with an interview. And then, because I mean, he will be our first hypercar champion that is not Mikhail Frokov. So he'll be our second ever hypercar champion. And that'll be a very interesting, it'll be interesting to kind of hear what he says about the season, and maybe he'll give us some of his plans for next season. So it'll be interesting. We will try to talk to, talk to him. And actually we have Jerome Linnerand and Nemanja Rajkovic battling it out for position, it looks like. Rajkovic is actually in the pits. He's out. Rajkovic is out of the race here, so now this battle's down to Nico Perez and Philip Smolka for the win of this GT3 and in hypercar. It's pretty much just going to be down to Morawetz and Ponset as the Ferrari does go wide, allowing the BMW on through. And I think this is pretty much Morawetz's race to lose here. So this is going to be an intense final few minutes. 8 minutes to go on the clock. These drivers are going to give it their all. They're going to leave it all on the line. Their heart, their soul, their engines, everything on the line. And Antoine Ponset is staring down the barrel of a championship win here. They clinched it for Cadillac 2 weeks ago in the Hypercar Challenge in Bahrain. And now they're looking to grab the driver's title here tonight in Sao Paulo with 1 round to go. And the curious thing is because, I mean, Antoine Ponset's about to lock in the championship if he can finish this race. So, is he going to go ahead and give GT3s another go? And what are his plans for next season? We'll just have to see, because I think right now he's just going to try to take it easy as Mikhail Frokov does come into the pits. He will come out in third. He'll get a very small splash of fuel. It'll update here pretty shortly. There it is. Yeah, so he's got pretty much the same amount as the other drivers. So Mikhail Frokov is going to go ahead and try to push it and try to catch up back to these two drivers. We know he's quick. I mean, he had to pace all day in that Ferrari. But ultimately, it was just the strategy that kind of did not go his way. But maybe it did. Maybe it did. We'll just have to see. About 6.5 minutes left to go on the clock. And there's a lot of racing still going on here on the track. Just in front of them, it is Nico Perez and Philip Smolka, round 2. Berkowitz did get back up to 4th, but once again, he's still going to lose a handful of points to Nico Perez. And pretty much, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a tough one for him. So, going to be a tough loss there for Jonas. He had a kind of a rough start. He made the pit stop early on and then just never really was able to kind of capitalize on anything. Never really made his way back through the field. He gained a few positions, but he was never able to really go back and challenge for the win. So Nico Perez now trying to put pressure on the Smolka, trying to go ahead and close the gap and try to get a win, trying to maximize the points he is taking away from Jonas Berkvist. As under the lights here in Sao Paulo and under the stars, these drivers continue to go ahead and duke it out. 5.5 minutes left to go, so you're only going to get about 3-4 more laps in at most. Once again, we'll check in on what the fastest lap is of the session. So the fastest lap is a 1:26.09. And that is in Fritz fastest lap is still Mikhail Frokov with a 1:25.6. And then in the GT3 field, the fastest lap does actually belong to Philip Smolka, I believe. With a no, it actually belongs to Nemanja with a 1:36.8 is the fastest lap of the race for GT3. So it's down to the final couple of minutes here. Less than 5 minutes left to go. And it is 5 more minutes until we crown a new champion in the hypercar category. And that is the entirety of the hypercar championship pretty much wrapped up. But there is still the GT3 championship to consider. This will go all the way to Sebring. And Nico Perez did get back past as Smoka actually had to make a pit stop. So Smoka made a pit stop, stickily in the pits, and just couldn't quite hold on for that a little bit longer. That's going to allow Bergqvist to potentially get some spots here. We'll see if they change tires or not. Because pretty much the rule is make a pit stop if you need to, but if you don't need to, then you're not going to get penned for it. So Bergqvist now trying to go ahead and trying to climb these positions. Kennedy's in the pits, so that will cede the position to Alex Drury. So Alex Drury now up in the 4th. And we've only had 2 retirements tonight. It is Mason Olney and Nemanja Rajkovic. So Bergqvist, and actually Smoka came out ahead of Bergqvist, so Bergqvist really did not gain any positions off of the pit stop there. So that is going to be pretty much where he's going to resign unless somebody has a massive accident. But if Nico Perez can manage to fuel save all the way to the end of the race, then he is in a wicked good spot to take victory and potentially even jump up into the lead of this championship and the GT3s. Once again, I think regardless of where this finishes, unless I think it would have to be where Jonas would have to DNF for Perez to win the battle here tonight. So, and actually I don't even think then, because I think even then the championship would still be on mathematically. So only a few minutes left to go, 2.5 minutes, and oh, Perez has made a pit. He's in the pits. So we will see if he's going to get out in time ahead of Nico Perez. He's going to go ahead and he's probably going to chuck on the quickest tire humanly possible, as we actually cannot see the tire compounds for the GT3s. Perez is out, and he is ahead, barely. Oh, he might actually not be ahead. Here comes Smoka coming around through. It's going to be a close one. And these two are going to battle out yet again with 2 minutes to go. Perez does not come out ahead of Philip Smolka. Philip Smolka is in the lead of the race once again, but this will be a battle that comes down to the checkered flag, as Mikhail Frokov is now trying to put pressure onto the Cadillac of Antoine Poncet. These two are going to be so close to each other that it's going to be a fight to the line. And I mean, what else can you say about these drivers, man? These drivers have been really quick all season. And I mean, Frokov, I think this is his only race this season as far as I've been able to find. But he is still putting on the same performances that have won him 2 championships. And it is going to be a final lap here coming up. 1 minute to go. We're about to see lap traffic in the hypercar category for the first time tonight, as Bradley Kennedy is being blue flagged by Fritz Morowitz here. So here we go. The battles are happening. And actually, Nico Perez must have had a bit of a moment because he's fallen a bit behind there off the back of Philip Smolka. But now we're going to turn our attention to the race winner, or soon to be race winner, depending on how everything finishes up. He's done very good in this race. He has managed his car all the way to the end. No pit stop. Oh, never mind. He is going to make a pits in the final few seconds of the race. It is going to be 1 more lap for these drivers. So hang on. Things are not done yet. That's the thing about racing. As soon as you think things are done, they are not. So this will be the final lap of the race. The timer is going to run out 10 seconds to go. And Antoine Poncet he's got one hand on the trophy already. He just needs to bring it home. And the timer is out. The checkered flag will be around, as it's going to be a championship to the Frenchman, to Cadillac, and he knows it. He's flashing to the car ahead to let him on through. Actually, there really isn't any car ahead of him. Actually, never mind, there is. It is the Mustang of one of his former rivals of Jerome Linderand. Those two have done battle in the hypercars in the past, but now he's making his way, coming soon across the line. He is in Sector 2 now. making his way to sector number 3. And soon enough, it's going to be over because Cadillac, they won the Constructors 2 weeks ago, and now they're about to win the Drivers' Championship. Take a bow, Antoine Poncet. It is the last corner before you are officially champion of the world. He's going to come across the line now. And your winner of the 60 Minutes of Sao Paulo and champion of the world, Antoine Poncet in the Cadillac, bringing it home for the American team. The French driver getting it done here in Sao Paulo. He needed to finish 6th or better. He took it to the top step with a beautifully managed race. What a drive from him. And now coming across the line for GT3, the return of the king. He was the champion in our inaugural GT3 season, but he offered to not defend the crown this time around. And now he's making his way through the final sector of the race. And soon we are going to go ahead and crown a winner here for the 60 Minutes of Sao Paulo. Mikhail Frokov taking P2, Fritz Morwetz in P3, and then it will be Alex Drury and Bradley Kennedy rounding out the hypercar field. But in the GT3 field, it is about to be done and dusted here, as Philip Smolka will come across the line here pretty shortly. And actually, he's running slow, so... Oh, I think that is actually done already. So Philip Smolka did already cross the line. He did already win the 60 Minutes of Sao Paulo in the GT3 field. And what a drive it has been for these drivers. So rounding out our grid here tonight, it is Antoine Poncet taking the win and the championship home with him, alongside Mikhail Frokov, Fritz Morwetz rounding out the overall podium, and then there's Alex Drury and Bradley Kennedy finishing up our top 5 and the hypercars here today. Philip Smolka will return to the front step of the podium, followed by Nico Perez, Jerome Lenorand, Jonas Bergqvist, William Stickley, Chris Ka, Gregory Casaderas, and then our retirements of Namaja Rajkovic and Mason One. So that is pretty much it. So what I am going to go ahead and do is I'm going to see if we can get a interview with Antoine Poncet. We're going to go and try to see if we can interview our championship winner. And we will do the same next week for our GT3 championship winner, because this GT3 championship will go down to the line in Sebring next week. Philip Smolka is going to come across the line to officially claim that championship, or to claim that position. And what a drive it was from these drivers. And we didn't see a lot of drivers have to pit, really. Pretty much right up there to the end. So, I mean, that was a beautiful drive from Poncet. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. We'll give it a few moments. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and see how everything is going to play out. But, yeah, be sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications if you guys haven't already, because next week will be the season finale of our Le Mans Ultimates Championship here in Season 3. And we also do have 4 divisions of F1 coming up. Once again, I'm not sure which division races today, but I will try to find that out and try to have a good schedule on hand next time around. But, yeah, that is pretty much going to be it here. And once again, what a race it was. So that was absolutely beautiful racing here in Le Mans Ultimate. And it's always a good time coming here. Sao Paulo delivered as always. But we're going to wait a few more minutes to see if we can get Poncet in for an interview. Doesn't look like it. We'll give it a few more minutes. But yeah, that was a fantastic race. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I mean, it is always a beautiful time coming to Interlagos. And I mean, even if we don't get Poncet in for an interview, I mean, he has earned this championship. Congratulations to the Frenchman becoming our second champion here and the champion of Season 3. Mikhail Frokov won the title the last 2 seasons. Now Ponce will become the second ever hypercar champion in Le Mans Ultimate here at Lightning Speed Racing. It was a very well-earned championship for the Frenchman. And it'll be curious to see what he's going to be able to do next season. But we still have one more championship battle to go, and this one is going to Sebring. It is Nico Perez, Jonas Bergqvist. Jonas, he had quite a few points taken out of his lead here by Nico Perez with that P2 finish. But it could have been more. So we will just have to once again see how everything plays out. We'll be heading to Central Florida next time around for Sebring, and I don't believe we are actually going to get Antoine in for an interview. It doesn't look like it, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning on in to Lightning Speed Racing here for the penultimate round of the season. Tune in next week when we are going to go ahead and wrap things up here in Sebring, Central Florida for the hour and 45 minutes of Sebring. Once again, on behalf of Lightning Speed Racing, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I've been your host and commentator throughout tonight's race. And we will see you guys next time in Sebring when it all comes down to the line for the GT3 Championship. Have a good night.